this tutorial I'm going to show you how to crochet the trellis stitch. This is perfect for making shawls for the spring and the summer. Hello, my name's Karen Stangram and welcome to Conquer Crochet, the channel for tips, tricks and techniques for conquering your crochet. Everything I talk about in today's video will be linked in the descriptions below. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss a single stitch. So if you're keen to get going with this video, give me a thumbs up and let's do this. So for this tutorial I'm going to be using an Aran weight yarn. You can use any weight yarn that you want to use as long as you make sure you change your hook size appropriate to go with the yarn that you've chosen. Because I'm using an Aran weight, I'm going to use a 5mm crochet hook. I have my needle for sewing in my ends and my scissors for cutting off my ends. So we're going to start off by making a slip knot. You can do this in whichever way you prefer. I do have a video on different ways of doing the slip knot, so if you haven't found your preferred method you might want to have a look at that. I'll link it in the descriptions below. We're going to make a foundation chain now, so that's the base of our work, and we're going to make our foundation chain in multiples of 4 plus 2. So I'm going to make mine 24 chains long plus 2, so it's going to be 26 chains. So we have a loop on our hook, yarn over and pull through the loop on our hook, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and keep going until you have the number of multiples of 4 that you would like to make. As I say, I'm going to make 24 for this swatch. So pause the video now whilst you make your foundation chain. So I've made my foundation chain of 24 stitches and I'm going to add 2 extra as my turning chains, so 1 and 2. So we're going to do our first stitch in the 6th chain from the hook. So this is not counted, the one on the hook. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in that 6th chain we are going to do a double crochet. That's UK terminology. That would be a single crochet in US. So I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, pull back through. I have 2 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Now going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back to the chain and we're going to skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and in the 4th stitch we're going to do another double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, double crochet in that 4th stitch, so insert, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through those 2 loops. And we're going to do this all the way down the row, so I'll show you one last time here. Chain 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, go back to the chain, 1, 2, 3, into the 4th chain, we do our double crochet. So pause the video whilst you do that pattern all the way down the row and I will meet you at the end of the row. Okay, so I'm coming up to my last trellis if you like, so I'm going to chain 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in that very last stitch, so 1, 2, 3, that 4th chain, we're going to do our double crochet. And that is row 1 of our trellis work complete. So for row 2 we're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to turn our work. Now there are 2 things you could do here. You could either just do a double crochet around that chain 5, or you could do what I'm going to do and actually work into one of the stitches. What I find if you just do that round the row 5, it'll start to slide so it's not in the center anymore and it becomes a little bit of a mess. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to actually fix my stitches in but that's entirely up to you. If you would prefer to just work into the spaces, you can do that. I'm going to work into the third chain, the middle chain of these 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm working into that third one, and I'm going in with a double crochet. Again, that's single crochet in US, double crochet in UK. I'm going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to move along to the next trellis bar. So we've got another chain 5 here, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to work into that third stitch there. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then in this next 5 chain we're going to go into that third stitch, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to do this all the way down the row. So you chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the next 5 chain you look for the third stitch and you do a double crochet into that third stitch. Okay, so continue down your row till you get to the end, and I'll show you what we need to do at the end of this row. So I've come to the end of the row here, and I don't have a 5 chain to work into. Well, I do, but it goes around the corner. So we're going to count along 3. So 1, 2, 3. We do our double crochet into that third chain, even though it's just about going around the corner. Oops. And that becomes the last stitch of our row. So if I just pull that corner out there, you can see how that's starting to work. Let me zoom out of it. There we go. So to start the next row, and basically we're just repeating row 2 all the way through. So we're going to chain 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. You turn your work. You've got a 5 chain. You look for the third chain, 1, 2, 3, and you might need to twist your work slightly if you need to see the actual stitches of the chain. But I'm going 1, 2, 3, and I double crochet. And we're going to do that all the way along this row and do exactly the same for the next row and the next row, repeating that row 2 until you have the length of the piece of work that you would like. So pause the video now whilst you complete your row 2, or you complete the rest of your work, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when I've made a few more rows, and I also have an extra row that I like to put in at the end. So pause the video now whilst you complete your rows 2. So I've done a few more rows just so you can see how this trellis works up, and it's almost a sort of diamond pattern that's made because you're pulling from the bottom and from the top of these. So we're going to do the finishing off row. Now you could just leave this as a finishing off row here if you wanted to, but what I like to do is just sort of smooth it off a little bit. So the final row I'm going to chain 3, so 1, 2, 3, turn my work. I'm still going to double crochet into that third chain, 1, 2, 3. And whereas in the repeat of row 2 we would chain 5, we're just going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. Then again we're going to skip over to the chain 5 and look for the third chain, 1, 2, 3, and do my my double crochet in there. Then chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Move over to that 5 chain space, 1, 2, 3. Do my double crochet in that third chain, chain 3, do my double crochet in the third chain, 1, 2, 3, do my double crochet in that third chain, and then 1, 2, 3, do my final double crochet in that third chain, 1, 2, 3, and then I would yarn over and fasten off. So what you get then is more of a neater edge along that top. It sort of just makes it a little bit more final, I think, especially if you're wanting to put a border on this. You've got something firmer to work on rather than something that's going to keep stretching like these stretch upwards. Because you have 2 less stitches in each of these chains, it doesn't want to pull up. So that's how to do your trellis stitch. I really hope you found today's tutorial useful. If there are any information that you need to find out about this video, have a look in the descriptions below where I post all the links to any freebies and other videos I think you might find useful. Don't forget, if you have enjoyed this video, to give me a thumbs up below. Don't forget also to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you've enjoyed it and you'd like to see more of my tutorial videos. There are 2 other videos on screen to help you on your crochet journey, and I will see you over there. Thank you so much for joining me on this one, and happy hooking!